grandma to bow out.
Wait a minute, he's right. You're not old enough, are you?
No.
There.
Hi.
Hello. So how did you guys in our car?
Come on, you guys, go out there and don't fall down.
You try to dunk me, I'll dunk you.
Oh, we have exactly the right amount of force.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Let's see. The gas one.
Oh, you sicko. Get out of here.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Looks like she's been to Korea.
No, I mean, it's not really, it's not really, it kind of.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have any relevance.
We're on sale in a lot.
Olives.
Giving dinner, and I'm going to ask Noel to give our blessing on the food, okay?
I'll let your nose into the snow.
Ah. Cold.
Oh, nice to sit down. Too bad.
Is this cold? Is this cold? No, is this cold? Shoot me, mister. Brady, shoot me, Mr. Hunter.
Usually I would say.
Sit down. Does anybody want the kid? Anybody want it? Yeah,
No,
no.
Mom.
Anybody want it? See?
Power Rangers don't eat. Oh, Curtis was already night. That's like an hour.
I don't think so. Process it takes to come
Have ya?
Okay, Dylan, you ready to eat?
I just don't like all this new kind of candy. I hate it. I'd rather have this chocolate.
Okay, I'll try to candy for the new kind.
There's lovely, yeah, that's sweet.
You better.
These are my blue. Those are my blue. Don't color those ones.
No one's like, old ones in the store there.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's Okay. Okay. Can we color these bottles? Yeah. Just don't color this body. Mother's very nervous. Cheese! Cheese! Wait, you want your change? No, I'll color the whole thing. Okay. Where's the tape? Anybody see the tape? Right there? Oh, that's okay. Can you give that to me? What? I know.
Well, how to hold it? Just a minute. I'm going to pick it up. Oh, well, it's on me. Just a minute. I'll go get a new bag.
I'm gonna color you. Okay, this story is called The Turkey with the Turkey.
Actually, yeah.
Jason's here from San Jose. Steph and Robert here from Greeley.
Well, she's not here.
No, when we tell her that we saw him.
Yeah.
She was asking about this story yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, she was asking
This is the one that was going to get the Indians.
Oh, I thought it was iron.
Well, she was going to use the rolling pin and the iron. That'd wipe them out. Are you surprised how heavy that is? There's a silver beaver. Let me see that. That's nice.
I thought she had two of these irons. I thought she had
Come on, Wendy, get the story.
Didn't she use the rolling pin and the iron? She was going to use them both.
Right, she started with what each.
Yeah. I was thinking she had two of these.
Yeah, that's nice.
How you could lift two of these.
Got me. Are you taking me as a prisoner?
Put it on.
Wear
Put
it.
it on.
I don't know how.
You just wrap it around your neck.
It says how to wear it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe have a white shirt on.
Yeah. That
Or
silver
a
envelope,
khaki green.
silver billow.
And what is it? It's a silver beaver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
You can wear it for informal and formal.
They're starting to give that to women. Yes,
Really?
really. Really, even
Well, they
women
should.
are getting that.
Girl
Yeah.
Scouts, Women Scouts.
No, women that are just girlfriends, yeah, Lord, and 3 different service scout, service to God, service to the community. Service to women. See, Joanne Hoffman should have that.
Oh, she wrote it.
Well, the community, you have to.
Well, let's nominate her. How do you nominate her for each?
When the others are open.
Are you ready to go?
Wow. That's one of the highest letters you can get. It is. The highest one.
Has a nose. A mouth on a choo-choo train? Wow, what does a choo-choo train eat? What does it eat? I don't know. What does it look like? Looks like it goes on the choo-choo. What? What does a train say? It says choo-choo. You fix it? He's talking to you, Brady.
Show me what?
Well, it probably was, but I don't think.
Maya, are you ready? My grandfather, McCallan's mother, was named Elizabeth Skellington, and she married Robert McCallan. And when she got married, her brother, Thomas Skellington, made her this rolling pin out of glass. He was called a glass maker, and he did blown glass too. But this is soft. Just feel how heavy it is. It has had one little knob broken off and lost. The end should be the same. this iron belonged to her. It's called a sad iron, and I wondered why it was called sad. But in looking it up, the word sad at one time meant heavy. So heavy is what it is. Her husband, Robert, worked in the iron mills in Manchester, England, and he made molds in which the molten iron was poured. And we're not sure that we think, because she kept this all her life, that it had been made in one of the molds that he had designed. And it was also called a sad iron to distinguish it from another iron that was called a box iron. The box iron didn't weigh as much, and it had a compartment inside it where they put hot coals. And that would heat the iron enough to do their clothes. She left England for America after her husband died because he had come a couple of years before and was working in a smelter in St. Louis to earn enough money to send for her and the children to come to Zion. But she got a letter from him saying money would be in the next letter, and the next letter didn't come and didn't come. So she went to church headquarters and they checked into it and discovered that he had died of cholera. So she decided to come along. She had a girl named Anne Jane and a girl named Rachel, and my grandfather Joseph. He was 5 years old, and the girls were a few years older. They started across the plains in 1853, and as they were traveling through Nebraska, in the distance, each day they could see Indians mounted on horses, kind of following along. It made me very nervous, as you can well imagine. And she used to say that they worried, and every night they were on a break from bed. One day, the leader of the company, Captain Brown, said that he and a couple of the other men were going to ride out and meet the Indian leader and talk. And he said, we don't know what will come of that, but prepare to defend yourselves if you need to. She hid her children in the wagon and wondered what on earth she could do to defend herself. She didn't have a gun, she never fired one, even if she had it. And then she remembered that she had this rolling pin, so she got this out, and she got her iron out, and she stood beside her wagon, and she said that she figured any Indian that came to her wagon, she could at least give him 2 good cracks. So these were her weapons that she was going to use. And she was my mother's grandmother. She married Robert Chapman after she got to Salt Lake. And so her full name was Elizabeth Skellington McCallum Chapman. So these things are well over 100 years old. These two things belong to the other side of the family, to the Hallowell side, to my mother's people. And Mary Twin Barrel Waters came from England and brought with her a daughter, Mary. The daughter was Mary, the mother was Elizabeth, I think. Anyway, she brought a number of silver articles, and these are the only two that we know of that still exist in the family. Shall I stop and wait? Elizabeth. The other one, the Wallace, Kay, Mrs. Case.
Oh, it's almost here from my tongue. I have that paper that
I know it.
Burr
I
has.
can't think of.
Oh,
Wallace, Bennett, Kay.
yeah, Bennett, Thomas Bennett. Here's the divorce papers that.
Nobody's here. Mary.
Mary Bennett.
Mary Twin Girl Bennett. Kay. And she was I'll get these generations straight.
Right. I've got a pedigree here somewhere. It's got too much stuff though. There we go.
There's my grandmother, my grandmother's mother in this one. So, she's my grandmother's grandmother, which makes her my great grandmother.
There's Thomas. Okay, so fifth. Mary Ann Bennett, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
This is my great grandmother. So this is two greats, isn't it?
yeah, there's your parents. No, let's see. There's your parents, there's your grandparents, and this is your great-grandparents. That too is
On my father's side of the family, we go back to a woman named Mary Twin Barrel Waters Bennett Kay. She was born Mary Waters, and we think the name Twin Barrel was her mother's maiden name. Apparently they had money. They lived in a family estate called the Nightingale's Bower. And Wilford Woodruff tells in his diary about baptizing people at the Nightingale's Bower. And Mary was married to Thomas Bennett. But he didn't join the church and wasn't interested, so he divorced her, and she came to Utah with 2 children. She brought some family silk with her, and so we have these 2 pieces that are the only ones left that she brought that are still in our side of the family. This is interesting. It's called a marrow spoon, and they used to cook these large roasts with big bones in them.
I'm glad
And
you
the
got
bones
that
were
right.
filled with marrow. And they would use this spoon to scoop it out. Nowadays we just throw it away, but it was quite a delicacy. So this would be used in a larger bone, this in a smaller bone. And there are hallmarks on the back, and we don't know whether they're manufacturers or whether it's a combination of the manufacturers and the families. These are sugar tongs, which belong to her, and they have a family crest. It's not the entire coat of arms, and we never researched it to find which coat of arms this crest belongs in. But it's the head of a bull coming in a crown, and they're solid sterling. She brought quite a lot of money with her, and when their group, when the ship they were on docked in New Orleans, they figured they'd get on the church's ship, a little boat called the Maid. Anyway, they expected to get on the church's boat and go up the river. And the church's boat had been impounded because the church had not been able to pay fees for keeping it in dock there or something. So she personally paid to have the boat released. It was called the Maid of Iowa, and she paid the fees and hired a crew, and in that way the group that she was traveling with went up the river and reached Nauvoo, and they said that as the boat pulled in at the dock, the prophet Joseph Smith was waiting there to greet them. And he got on board the boat and rushed straight to her and thanked her for what she had done. He'd never seen her before, but he went right to her. She came to Utah and married a Mr. K, who was a friend of Brigham Young's and was a bodyguard for Brigham Young for one time. he was called to settle in what is now Kaysville, and Kaysville is named for him. And there's a lot of interesting family history connected with that. She brought her daughter Mary Ann Bennett with her from England, and she was the mother of my grandmother Mary Ann Burke-Held, because she married James Hillwell. They lived in Kaysville for a while, and after she married Mr. Kay, she had an additional 6 children, and those children were half brothers and half sisters to my grandmother. And so these are the things that grandmother got when her mother died. We don't know how much her own mother got in the way of family things, but Grandma always said that she got quite a few pieces of silver. But when Grandma's father, James Burke, married again, the family did not get along very well. And the stepmother was supposed to have given away or thrown out a lot of the silver. Grandmother says she remembers seeing some of the silver bowls out in the chicken yard, and his stepmother was feeding the chickens with silver bowls. So grandmother got some small pieces and hid them, and grandmother passed them on to my father. And now I'm in possession of them. I don't feel like I'm really on them, but they're here, and they're really high quality things. So.
What are you making now?